Cyborg 2087 from 1966. Is this the real inspiration for Terminator 2? Theme song.
Guns Reviews! Guns Reviews!
If you want to watch Cyborg 2087, check the link in the description. So, one day I was watching Match Game, like we all do, right? Everybody watches Match Game reruns, right? And one of the fun parts about watching these old shows for episodes from the 70s is trying to figure out who the people are, because they usually have, they have 6 people, two rows of 3. They have their 4 regulars, and in the top left is usually a male actor, and the bottom left is usually a female actor. So it's fun trying to figure out who those 2 are. On the episode I happened to be watching was somebody named Joanne Flug, P-F-L-U-G. So I didn't recognize her, so I looked her up and saw that like one of her early roles was something called Cyborg 2087. And then I saw people say that it was similar to Terminator and Terminator 2, so I watched it. Now, Terminator got in a little legal trouble by Harlan Ellison, who I don't know if he actually sued or is threatened to sue because of similarities between 2 episodes of The Outer Limits he wrote, one called Soldier and one called Demon and with a Glass Hand. So I was curious about this Cyborg 2087. It turns out that Joanne Flug's only in the first scene, but the movie's still pretty good. So it starts off, we're in the future. Guess what year it is? And some people are in a control room, including Joanne Flug. They're trying to send this person back into the past. And some soldier/police break in, but luckily the guy gets sent back just in time. Turns out they're sending this titular cyborg back to the 60s, where he's trying to change the future. How? By breaking into a science lab and preventing their discovery from changing the world and being used to enslave mankind.
Locate Future Industries Incorporated. Find Professor Sigmund Marx. Bring the professor to this command. If he resists, destroy him.
I came here to prevent a scientific catastrophe.
Scientific catastrophe?
The professor's discovery is premature. The scientific world of today is not ready for this breakthrough.
Sounds kind of familiar, huh? But 2 bad guys follow him. They're not made of liquid metal, though, and there's 2 of them. And there's lots of scenes of them jogging, and they're kind of old guys. They're not in the best shape. And they're just wearing coveralls. And their tracker to track him, it looks like a compass, but like there's no glass on it on the top cover. So that's kind of fun. The movie... also, because he is a cyborg, it is also interesting to see similarities between it and Terminator. Yeah, and I think most of them are coincidental. But there's a scene where he goes to a doctor and he has a tracker inside of him. So he's trying to convince the doctor that, hey, I really am a cyborg. And he opens his shirt. And he's got like a metal plate underneath his skin. And then he pulls up his shirt sleeve. And I mean, it's a very cheap movie. So there's just like some silver wires. But it definitely reminded me of when the Terminator like cut its arm and exposed the endoskeleton. Endoskeleton, not exoskeleton. So there's definitely some similarities. It is low budget, so there are some scenes that kind of drag on. There's the opening scene where a guy is taking his dad or uncle to this ghost town, and the guy is like, "Oh, we're going to have a good time tonight. We're here." And he's like, "Dad, there's no one here."
So this is your old town.
Yeah, and it's still a pretty nice town, too.
Well, I guess so, if you like ghost towns. Me, I prefer the life of the city.
That's the trouble with this younger generation. They got no respect for the good old days.
It just happens to be the cyborg. That's where he lands. And there's also some scenes of some teenagers dancing that seems to go on forever. It's also fun to see sort of their vision of what futuristic technology is going to be. What, for example, that tracker he has taken out of him, he pulls it out.
It's incredible. Think that this tiny object contains a transmitter so powerful it can span vast distances.
Like, yeah, we have those. They're Apple AirTags, cell signals, GPS. Even though the movie is made in the 60s, it's this kind of interesting place with the role of women. So it's the main female character. She is an assistant to the scientist that's going to make this invention that changes the future. But she's not just an assistant. She's actually a doctor herself.
I'm Dr. Mason, Sharon Mason.
And throughout the thing, like, her love interest keeps telling her, just stay here, and while I go and check on it.
You will stay here. I'll go with Dr. Zelda to the fire station.
Stay here and have a good time till I get back. Sharon will stay with you.
But she doesn't. She just goes on her own.
You come with me, and I'll tell you all about it later. The rest of you stay right here.
And she actually asked out a man at one point. So it's where they're like trying to put in the traditional gender roles, but it's not quite. So I liked it. It's a little slow. It's a little got some filler in it, but I can definitely see it has a lot more similarity to Terminator 2 than the Harlan Ellison Soldier story. It's been a long time since I saw Soldier with a glass hand, so I can't really remember that much. But I like it. It's fun if you want to see old science fiction movies. I'm going to give Cyborg 2087 3 thumbs up. Watch the teens dancing. Watch the old men try to run. Watch Terminator. And watch more videos. I'm getting close to 1,000 subs.